Batman is a certified pop culture icon, having been part of the cultural zeitgeist since he debuted way back in 1939. Yeah, 80 years ago. Dude looks pretty good for his age. And over those 80 years, we've got a lot of different adaptations of the character, in TV shows, movies, books, all of that awesome goodness. And each one has been pretty awesome in its own right.
This is why Superman works alone.
Okay, maybe not that one. Definitely not that one. Editor, don't ever, and I mean ever, show me that again. Especially not the close-up on his, well, those. Anyways, the thing is though, each one of these previous adaptations haven't quite managed to be the definitive Batman. The one who most accurately represents what we have seen in 8 decades worth of comics. But that might be looking to change, however, with the Batman coming to us in the not too distant future. But how exactly is this film going to present us with the quintessential Batman, with the most accurate version of the character? Well, sit back, grab some of your favorite beverage, try to forget the horrors of Batman and Robin, and I'll let you know exactly how Robert Pattinson's Batman will be the most accurate one yet. Let's get right into it.
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
Okay, so before we begin, I feel like it is important to make it totally clear that a lot of what we're going to be discussing in this video is going to be based off of small little tidbits about the Batman that we have either heard via interviews or something like that. Basically, all of this video is going to be my own wild and crazy speculation, which I mean, that's probably why you're here in the first place. Who doesn't love some wild and crazy speculation every once in a while? Anyways, let's talk some Batman. Starting things off, what exactly do we know for sure about the Batman, as in the film, not the character? Well, we know that this movie is going to feature Robert Pattinson in the role of Bruce Wayne, aka Batman. When he was cast, social media kinda lost their collective minds, all decrying the quote-unquote sparkly vampire guy, which, yeah, he did do Twilight, but he's done so much more since then that it's kinda unfair to judge him just off of that. I mean, check out The Lighthouse. Whew, holy spamoly, that was good. Anyways, Pattinson is actually the first point I want to discuss. Say what you will about some of his choices in the past, but Pattinson has definitely proven on numerous occasions that he can definitely act. In fact, he might be one of the best actors of his generation. And with a character like Batman, he's gonna be able to do a lot. See, most of Bruce Wayne's defining traits deal with some super deep personal trauma. I mean, this is a guy who saw his parents gunned down in front of him when he was only a little kid. That's something that'll mess anyone up, even flippin' Batman. And yes, other Batman have done decently with the whole broken man angle of the character. Michael Keaton portrayed it fairly well, if not subtly, in Batman '89, and Christian Bale did a decent job with it back in Batman Begins. But Pattinson is just skilled enough that he could really drive it home. He could do for Batman what Joaquin Phoenix did for the Joker last year, make him a character who could feasibly win an Oscar. I'll leave the discussion on whether or not that matters at all to the comment section. Anyways, the point is, Pattinson could accurately portray the broken man that is Bruce Wayne. The broken man who attempts to fill the gaping hole in his life by dressing up like a bat and punching bad guys in the face. Speaking of Joker, it is worth pointing out that, odds are, this Batman won't be facing down with Joker anytime soon. Not gonna say that a film bringing him and Phoenix's Arthur Fleck together won't ever happen, but it probably won't be this one. Which is actually a good thing, because it'll give Pattinson room to own every moment and just crush the performance. Moving on, let's talk about something that Batman does that fundamentally makes him who he is. Something that we haven't seen a lot of on the big screen. But first, and I swear that this is relevant, do you know what DC actually stands for? At least what it originally stood for? Detective Comics. Detective Comics. Notice how I put a ton of emphasis on the detective part there. That is sort of important here, as Batman is often referred to in the comics as the world's greatest detective. And yet, in the films, we don't really see that all too often. Yes, he does do some detecting here or there, but more often than not, most of the problems that Batman faces on the big screen are solved by him punching dudes. Don't get me wrong, I love seeing Batman kick someone in the head as much as the next guy, but the character is capable of so much more. And apparently, the Batman is going to feature a lot more of the Caped Crusader doing detective-y stuff, scanning crime scenes, analyzing evidence, basically doing the whole CSI thing, but in overdrive. Which is good, since this film is going to feature a younger version of the character. One who isn't the best at fighting. Sure, he'll kick plenty of butt, but his fighting style is reportedly pretty rough when compared to other film adaptations of the character. So yeah, since his physical side won't exactly be perfectly refined, we'll instead get a Batman who is a lot more focused on the more brainy side of things. Which will be interesting to see, since he is reportedly going to be squaring off against a pair of villains in the form of Catwoman and Penguin. But yeah, it's worth noting that odds are we'll see Catwoman joining Batman's side by the end of the film, since she is more often portrayed as an ally more than a villain over the last couple of decades. Heck, she was even engaged to the guy for a while in the comics, so he'll have someone to help him when it comes to fighting. Now let's move on to the major elephant in the room, the Batsuit. Not too long ago, the film's director Matt Reeves released a comic test of the new suit on Vimeo, and it immediately unified the Batman fanbase, with everyone universally loving every little detail of it. Nah, I'm just pulling your chain. It immediately caused a riot. No one really seemed able to agree on whether or not it's any good. For reference, I personally really dig it, giving me some serious Arkham Knight vibes. And speaking of Arkham Knight, this suit looks super technical, way more heavily armored than some previous Batsuits. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Batfleck. And here's the thing, this could imply that the film is also going to show us the inventor side of Bruce Wayne. As we haven't really heard any word of a Lucius Fox character existing in this adaptation, we may be seeing Batman using his smarts for something beyond being a world-class detective. In the comics, certain versions of the character is shown to be the one who builds his own gear, be it his staple pieces like batarangs, grappling hooks, that sort of thing, or these specific tools that he needs for special situations, like the kryptonite spear in Batman v Superman. So could this suit be one that he built himself? It's certainly possible. And if you look at the bat symbol on his chest, which looks like it is made from parts of a gun, this might very well be the case. A lot of people are speculating that that is Joe Chill's gun, also known as the one that he used to take out Bruce's parents. So if that is the case, having him built it himself would make a lot of sense, and lend itself to the idea that maybe, just maybe, this Bruce Wayne is just as much of a genius as he is in the comics. Now let's talk about the cowl for a bit, since Batman's cowl is about the most iconic part of his outfit. In the camera test that we saw, the cowl almost appeared to have ears that slightly sloped outward, something that doesn't appear so much on the suit used by the stunt actor in those set photos that were released a little while ago, but you can't always take stunt outfits as exactly how the hero suit will look. I mean, that one doesn't even have a cape, and yes, I know that they CG the cape on later. So let's just say that the ears do slightly bow outward. That would actually cause them to match a lot closer to the original design of the cowl that we saw when the character made his debut back in 1939. Look at that design. Holy smokes, that is a lot different than what we got today. Anyways, sloped out ears would be a nice little nod to the early days of the character. And again, since this is going to be a younger, more rookie version of the character, paying homage to his early days on the page would be a nice little nod, and a whole lot more palatable than those ridiculous purple gloves. Now, when I say that he is going to be a younger Batman, don't get me wrong. This film is reportedly not going to be an origin story, instead focusing on a Bruce Wayne who has been wearing the cowl for about 2 years or so. So he's not a complete rookie, but he also isn't the famous protector of Gotham that most films portray him as. So expect a vibe similar to what we saw in Batman Year 2, a comic arc that was published back in June through September of 1987. While we aren't going to be getting a direct adaptation of that comic, the overall tone and feel could be the same, and most likely will. So that is a lot of the reasons why we here at Screen Rant believe that this film, The Batman, will present us with perhaps the most accurate version of the character that we've ever seen on the big screen. What do you think about this idea? Which of the movie Batmen is your personal favorite? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And while you're down there, why not consider subscribing to Screen Rant for even more awesome videos just like this in your feed each and every day. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you at the movies.